What you are about to see is a real Code X incident. While Code X scenarios are chaotic in nature, the performance of the lifeguards in this training video was exemplary. It is critically important that every lifeguard be prepared to act should a Code X occur at your beach.
11, 10-4, 1098, Tower 17, 10 search.
Code X is what we call a confirmed submersion, or a person who's gone underwater.
240, was this a witness Code X? Guard Hamburg is signaling Code X. He witnessed it.
It's every lifeguard's nightmare.
This is pretty much the call that we all dread.
Over the next few minutes, you will learn the steps and procedures to follow if you should face a Code X.
This is not a real common thing you deal with. It's something we train for. It's something that we're ready for when it does happen, because throughout the course of my career, it's inevitable that this will happen.
When we get that call, we go into a different mode. Immediately, our attention is focused on getting all the resources we can into that area to find this person.
The search operation for a submerged victim is a very complex undertaking. Time is of the essence in a search of this nature. Due to the drowning process, 1 hour will be given from the time of submersion to successfully locate and recover the victim. After that time, the lifeguards may transition from the rescue mode of the search to the recovery mode. To quickly organize the search, the implementation of the Incident Command System will guide you and your fellow lifeguards from beginning to end. The Incident Command System is a modular, expandable system by which resources and assignments can be tracked and coordinated. Each Code X will have an Incident Commander. As resources become available, consideration should be given to assigning an Operations Section Chief and a Safety Officer. The Incident Commander will usually be the highest-ranking lifeguard present, or the most qualified individual. The Incident Commander will establish a command and designate a command post. The Incident Commander or Operations Section Chief, if established, is best served by having a commanding view of the incident. The Incident Commander is also responsible to initiate the development of an incident action plan.
You're in charge of the water people, okay, Terry?
Got it.
They will also monitor the main radio frequency for the incident. If necessary, a liaison officer will assist the IC when communicating with allied agencies on separate radio frequencies. Additionally, the IC can appoint a public information officer. The PIO's job is to interface with the media and perhaps other government officials who will no doubt have interest in a large-scale operation. Next in the Incident Command System is the Operations Section Chief, who will determine division work assignments and resource requirements. They will coordinate, communicate, and direct all personnel on scene, including the in-water search team, dive team, air support, paramedics, police, and other responding agencies providing mutual aid. The safety officer or officer's job will be monitoring the safety of lifeguards and beachgoers. At any time, they can put a stop to activity that could cause potential harm. Factors they have to consider for the safety of the searchers are environmental hazards such as piers, rocks, reefs, and cliffs. Additionally, weather hazards such as lighting, large surf, cold water, and currents should be evaluated. The proximity of boats to in-water searchers both on and under the surface. Divers and swimming line searchers should all be assigned a buddy and check in and out of the water using some type of accountability system. The safe use of helicopters over the scene and establishing a proper landing zone in the event of a mechanical failure or the loading and unloading of rescuers or the victim.
Everybody back, let's go.
The search area should be cleared of all beachgoers, both on land and in the water, so that they may not be put in peril or confuse the search. Prearranged signals for recalling searchers or ceasing all operations.
Lights and sirens are going to go. That means you guys come back.
Pre-planning how the victim, if found, will be extricated and transferred to the waiting paramedics.
When they bring them out, we're going to get them out of the water line and set them behind the truck.
Prior to establishing the Incident Command System, the initial Code X call is made.
As I backed in, I noticed the guard was diving below the water. As I looked, he came back up, crossed his arms for a Code X.
A quick search begins immediately, at which time lifeguards enter the water and check the last seen point. If the submersion of the subject is observed by a reporting party or lifeguard, the last seen location should be pinpointed.
I went on like a PA right here, and then I saw him to the left.
Okay, so when you drifted, you got to here, you said it was right about there.
Yeah.
If available, a lifeguard should head to the last seen point indicated by the reporting party and mark it by deploying a marker buoy with adequate weight.
Hail it out.
This will be the point of reference, also known as the datum or last seen position. If a buoy is not available, have the lifeguard in the water triangulate the position by aligning 2 points of reference to establish the first line and 2 points of reference to establish the second line. Additionally, make a prominent mark in the sand, which can be used as a stationary reference point in case you have to move yourself, vehicles, or the reporting party. With a quick search continuing, it is important to observe and gather information. This involves determining if this is a witnessed or non-witnessed drowning.
I push him up, and then it's kind of deep, so I swim down, and then I try to push him up higher. I was gasping for air, and I came back up, and then he kind of drifted off.
In the instance of this witness drowning, lifeguards must gather pertinent information by making contact and interviewing the reporting party.
We need some information about the person who's with you.
It is important to follow these guidelines when collecting information about the missing subject. Interview witnesses separately. Ask open-ended, non-leading questions. Get a complete description of the subject. Where was the subject last seen? Identify landmarks for location. Was the subject continually in view, or did the reporting party take their eyes off the subject or look away for a few minutes? Was the subject struggling? Did you see the victim submerge? Identify the relationship between the reporting party and the missing subject. Obtain the identification of the reporting party for your records. Determine the validity and credibility of the reporting party's statement.
Green hair, black hair, medium length.
Once crucial information has been gathered and validated, send a lifeguard or other official to check the towel area and/or vehicle of the missing subject. Relay all pertinent information to lifeguards.
Confirming agent.
Affirmative, Asian male.
And make public announcements throughout the beach.
Attention on the beach. Brian McCarthy, please report to the nearest lifeguard tower. Brian McCarthy to the nearest lifeguard.
Many times, missing subjects have exited the water unseen and are on the beach. During a Code X search, many parts of the operation will be happening simultaneously and in separate locations. Search patterns will vary depending on the water conditions, currents, depth, and visibility. Search patterns will best be determined by the incident commander. If assigned, the operations section chief or dive group supervisor can make this decision.
They were there, and by the time you got there, the boat only drifted over here.
Given enough assets, the separate aspects of the search should be broken down by responsibility or specialty. At the incident commander's discretion, the search can transition from a quick search to a more methodical search pattern, such as a parallel search, also known as a line search, or a grid search. The goal of the line search is to have an organized and coordinated sweep of the ocean floor. Also assisting in the water, the dive group will work to coordinate the search conducted by scuba divers and line search swimmers. They will deploy their teams at the direction of the incident commander or operations section chief if established.
The dive group going to 7.
The dive group supervisor will most likely be the ranking dive team supervisor. They will assign search patterns to the divers and swimmers. Divers will execute predetermined search patterns and have intervals at which to surface to either receive new instructions or stand down. Precautions should also be taken to ensure the safety of divers and other rescue personnel. With numerous resources in the water, it is crucial to have a communication plan prior to sending personnel into the water.
Okay, I want you to go out with this first group, control them. Okay? And I want you, every lights and sirens that goes on, we need to come back and regroup if we need to, okay?
Lifeguard communications should provide pertinent updates to the incident commander, including updates on search time.
Helicopter's about 5 minutes out.
About 5 minutes out.
PWCs with waterproof communications are an excellent tool to allow two-way communications with the line search teams. Lifeguard boats can also assist in communicating information to in-water search teams, as well as taking part in the search. Paddleboards are another valuable tool during the search, especially for a near-shore recovery. Other neighboring agencies can assist by providing additional line searchers, divers, or rescue vessels if available. The availability of a helicopter can give the incident commander an advantage of having a set of eyes at a higher vantage point. The speed of the helicopter to arrive on scene and cover substantial sections of the search area are also quite an advantage. Depending on the visibility, they can also insert a lifeguard if the victim should be spotted, or deploy a swimmer or diver to make a grab for the victim. Some considerations for the use of a helicopter include weather conditions, rotor wash on light objects, the associated noise and confusion the helicopters can create, and whether or not lifeguards are trained to insert and recover from the helicopter over water. While rescue efforts continue in the water, lifeguards on shore will continue to monitor water activity and keep the search area clear. Additionally, they can be a line of communication for the in-water searcher resources. Any available resources can assist in the clearing of the search area of all beachgoers, so that they may not be put in peril or confuse the search. Police can provide crowd control if necessary, interview witnesses, and assist in looking for the missing person on land. Should the family or reporting party need assistance, police can also provide invaluable crisis intervention services. Pre-planning how the victim, if found, will be extricated and transferred to waiting paramedics is paramount. Paramedic units will stage near the closest area where the victim will be returned to shore, such as a launch ramp, designated shoreline, or receiving area. Knowing how and where the victim will be taken ashore will allow all crews to stage in a safe area, ready to continue resuscitation and transport the victim to the nearest appropriate hospital. An air ambulance should also be considered as an option for medical transport should it be available and necessary. If the missing person hasn't been located after the 1-hour search period, rescue efforts may transition from rescue mode to recovery mode. At this time, rescuers may be called in for a briefing on the recovery phase. The incident commander and operations section chief should make the preparations for the recovery mode. This is also a time to debrief, restock, and redeploy assets. A tactical debriefing is a useful tool to professionally critique the entire operation. Valuable lessons about what worked and what didn't are learned. These lessons will make the next operation run more smoothly and efficiently.
Any questions?
Regrouping and returning to normal operations is a high priority. Other areas of responsibility have no doubt been depleted during the search. All expended supplies should be restocked. Tired employees should also be attended to with food, warmth, and documentation of any injuries that occurred during the search. Employee counseling is another important factor for employee health and morale. Stress and anxiety are normal reactions to traumatic incidents.
When an incident like this does occur, it permeates through the whole department. We make sure that all the employees are properly debriefed so that they can go back and do their jobs effectively the next time they're out there working.
Documentation of all the events, witness statements, and any other reports should be completed at this time. Perhaps the biggest determining factor on how successful a Code X search will be relies on training and careful pre-planning. Strong overall knowledge is important. Depending on available staffing and resources, rescuers may be required to assume almost any role as part of the Code X procedure. Rescuers will have an easier time taking on these roles and acting proficiently if they understand in advance the basics of a Code X search and the incident command system. Preparation and training for this type of event should be conducted regularly and involve the practical application of this knowledge and the open water environment. Line searches and the use of specialized equipment during a stressful search and rescue operation such as a Code X will be easier if mastered well in advance.